It's Wednesday, July 7th, 2021. The Giggler and I are back in the studio talking about Loki Episode 5 and preparing for Black Widow in theaters. This is Mostly Superheroes. Hello and welcome to Mostly Superheroes. I'm your host, Logan. This is a weekly pursuit for the world's best stories with an emphasis on live-action superhero stuff. Back for more. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for the Giggler. You got two shots, remember? You got two camera angles on you.
Oh, yeah.
I'll probably put them both in now that I've mentioned it. Andy, how are you?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How was your 4th of July?
Just action-packed, full of booze, food, and everything you could ever want.
Did you just American dream it and just get after it? Lots of beers, lots of bush lattes maybe?
Definitely a lot of. I mix it up a lot with the drinks.
Did you have a hot
I had
dog?
a lot of seltzers. I had a lot of bratwursts.
Very good. Very good.
This really good sour beer that I found. It's a rainbow sherbet that I found at Max.
Yes.
Local Eats, and
Yes.
it's all I've been drinking lately. It's so good.
Max eventually is going to have to pick up on the fact that we plug them all the time.
Yes, please listen.
I mean, my gosh, we talk about this burger nonstop, but I'm glad to hear that you are ending up there as much as I need to be. I don't go near enough. It's like one of those places where it's a special treat, and I'm like, because of that, I'm always like, oh, we'll go later. But I need to just go more often,
Oh, yeah,
honestly.
for sure. It's worth it every time. Let's go together.
Hell yeah. It's been a while since we've been in here. A couple weeks now.
I missed it.
I missed it too. I told you, I even got sad, the weeks I wasn't making. I was like, what's missing from my life?
I hope that the listeners missed it just as much as we did.
Well, one guy did. Scotty missed it.
Yes.
I saw him commenting, saying, hurry up, get back in there. I know some other fans mentioned it on our other social platforms, Twitter and all that. We appreciate the love. And you might notice we're missing our third wheel, PC Mike. He is out there taking care of some business. He's doing just fine. We'll say that, send him some positive vibes. He'd appreciate it. Get in the Facebook group. Say, hey, I'm sure he'd appreciate it. He'll be back. He's just taking care of life just like the rest of us out here.
Yep. And
he will be back, of course. Busy times out here. Andy, what do you say we just talk about some stuff and dive in with the fans?
Yes, please.
All right, let's do it.
Fan mail.
Yeah, man. Missed you guys. Missed Andy. Missed being in the studio. And we still are opening up the thing with fan mail. I was listening back to our last episode when we were in the studio. You had a call out for someone to call into the studio phone. If you don't know, we do have a phone. It's 754-CALL-LOG. That's 754-225-5564. You can leave us a voicemail. You can send us a text. And I think you called out your buddy Dan?
Yep.
Right?
Did he call?
Nothing yet.
Oh, I just hung out with him last week. We had dinner. He's from, he lives in Colorado now.
Let me guess.
So he was
He didn't mention
from
it.
out of town. And no, we talked about it. We talked about the podcast a lot. I think he's one of our biggest fans. Also going to join our Patreon. So
whoa, I got to give it up for that.
That's a good thing.
What I like about Patreon, and I'll even say this, it's like if you're not wanting to pay for Patreon all the time, it's just like anything else. It's like a monthly thing. So you could literally come in, do the Patreon for say an episode that you really want to hear the bonus stuff for. And then you could walk away and come back. So I love to hear that Dan's considering it. One of our biggest fans, you said.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, it's time, Dan. I've tried to refrain from calling out people to call in, but if Giggler's calling you out, I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Give us a call on that phone line.
I'm upset that he didn't call yet, but I will be sure to send him a reminder tonight. I
Good.
think we'll have a voicemail by next week.
Perfect. We'll watch for that. We'll play it on the show. It's easy to get featured. And then today, another easy way to get featured on the show is to join the Mostly Superheroes Squad. That's our Facebook group, totally free, totally exclusive. It's free to join, and once you're in, it's private. So it's kind of like a private fun group where we share what we're watching, what we're reading, and of course, wanted to feature any fans that wanted to highlight what they've been watching in the middle of our hiatus. We almost took a summer break. You know how the Flash and the CW shows, they take their summer break?
Yes, they take too many of them.
They take them all the time now.
I mean, let me just go there because I've been religiously watching Superman and Lois.
Yeah,
And
I've been watching it too.
It's worth it, but we
Is
just
it?
hit another break.
Is it worth it?
I think it's worth a
It
shot.
it has been painfully slow for me to like get through these. I'm on like episode 10.
Wow, I thought you would have enjoyed it.
I mean, I love Superman.
I'm surprised to hear that. I mean, we'll see where it goes. I think
We'll
there's
see
only
where
a
it
couple
goes.
left.
Yeah,
Like, it's just like, why are you having another month break?
What? And they have another one right now. Of course they
Yeah,
do. CW's classic for this. We'll talk about Superman and Lois for sure because whenever it's
Yeah.
over, I want to compare notes and hash it out.
Okay, done.
From the squad, got to feature two of our biggest fans for sure. What's even funnier is these two are together. They're engaged. Scott and Shanna.
Congrats to them.
Congrats, just recently.
I don't even know when it was.
No,
but-
it was just a few months ago.
Oh, then beautiful.
And yeah, absolutely. Good friends of ours. Big fans of the show. Shanna said we're excited to see Black Widow this weekend, so it sounds like they're going to be doing this. And Scott, our boy Scott, he's called in, left us a message. He said he's got a list here that I feel like you probably watch all these. I feel like Master Chef, Hell's Kitchen, and we know we watch Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. What a list. Great job, Scott, on this one. Do you watch either of these,
Master Chef and Hell's Kitchen are not my forte. I'm mostly in the Guy Fieri games.
Okay.
And he's I think that's Bobby Flay is one of those. I don't know the other one, but
you're still in the world. You still know names.
oh, I do love I love food.
Right, you still know who the people
I
are.
love
You're
food.
naming chefs as if you don't know what these shows are, but I feel like you still know. But Hell's
Yeah.
Kitchen, that's of course
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay, right?
I think so.
That's him.
Somewhere like that.
No, that's of course. Hell's Kitchen's like the famous one.
Okay.
'Cause
I've never watched it religiously. I'm all Guy Fieri, man.
Guy Fieri. So if it's not Guy Fieri, just get it out of
If
here.
you're listening, Guy,
Fieri.
your biggest fan.
And then Rick and Morty. So hey, appreciate that. It's that easy to get featured. We'll always feature fans first on this show. Missed you guys, and we'll keep it going for you. With that, let's go ahead and get into the news.
News and rumors.
Gonna do news kind of in just two things. One's kind of a sad news, and then we're gonna end on a happy news. The first sad bit of news that came out last week, Richard Donner, this came out of Deadline, where I pulled it from, director of some big movies that we'll talk about, did just die, pass away last week at 91. Here are some titles for you that this guy directed. Big list of a bunch of movies in the 70s, 80s, and beyond. First and foremost, Superman. The movie we just talked about. We just did a review. Lethal Weapon. That might sound familiar. The Goonies. Let's see. We got some other ones in here. And actually, what I want to talk about specifically was the Superman movie, of course, since we just did it. Ties into mostly superheroes. This was the guy behind it, and he's also the guy behind the rest of the films, too. So we'll be talking about Superman 2 here in a couple weeks, I'm sure.
That's a solid resume too.
Solid resume. This guy's an absolute legend. You know, part of the, the whole reason we're here today is talking about all these things that are happening in here in 2021. This guy was one of the pioneers behind Superman. You know, he's quoted to say he was the one that came up with "You'll believe a man can fly," because that came from him. He said, "I don't want to be too." He said he didn't want to be too campy. He was the one that said superhero movies can be serious if you do them right, and that's what they were going for with the Superman movies. And again, this came from Deadline. Wanted to read just from a quick little tribute to his work on the Superman films from this article written by Patrick Hypes just a couple days ago on July 5th, 2021. So talking about 1978 Superman, the original superhero movie that starred Reeves, that's Christopher Reeves, as the Man of Steel, along with Margot Kidder, Marlon Brando, Gene Hackman, and Ned Beatty, who also just passed away earlier this year. The Warner Brothers blockbuster with a budget of $55 million grossed more than $300 million at the global box office. The first movie tentpole based on a superhero comic book character. It scored 3 Oscar nominations and won a Special Academy Award for its visual effects. I think PC Mike had told us about that in that episode. And it's also the cast for the superhero franchise space, now dominated by the MCU and the DCU. So again, everything that we're experiencing now, Richard Donner, just want to say RIP, thanks for the work.
Well said. Does that say he was 91 or 81?
He was 91 years old, and according to the article, and it was according to his wife, no cause of death has been revealed. But, at 91, you can assume a few things, but either way, sad to hear he passed. Condolences for sure to the Donner family. But, man, what a resume. Like you said, you look back at the list. Bouncing over to some upcoming news, something that's coming in the next month. Give it up right now. Talk about some live-action superhero stuff that's right around the corner. We're talking about James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
I keep forgetting how close this really is.
I
It's like the first week of August, right?
Yeah, it's I don't have the exact date in front of me, but this was on July 6th, a tweet from James Gunn himself just saying 1 month, only 1 month, only 1 month, only 1 month, with a pretty awesome teaser trailer for the movie. Again, the Suicide Squad. You can follow James Gunn at James Gunn. He's one of our, one of the fans of the show. We've talked about this before. He liked a comment of ours months ago, and Andy, he liked another comment of ours just last week.
Oh, what?
He knows mostly superheroes. I'm telling you on Instagram, he's like, oh, okay, I know who you guys are.
Oh, my God.
We're just like 1 or 2 comments away from being James Gunn famous.
His favorite podcast.
I saw a picture of him on his Insta, and he had like the white. I don't know if he.
Oh, yeah.
He had to have dyed it, right? White hair, white goatee. What was going on with that?
I don't know. Silver Fox.
What do you think about this movie, man? You still pumped?
I'm so excited. It's the 6th of August, FYI. That's the release date. That makes total sense with the 1 month from the tweet that he sent yesterday. So
yeah, this is best of both worlds for you. I mean, also for PC Mike. I mean, John Cena in this thing as Peacemaker, going to have his own show that's spun off of this film. This thing is looking crazy good, but man, do you think it's going to be good?
I can't. I don't have enough to say. You know what? It's James Gunn, so I'm going to say yes.
And you're saying that because of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Correct.
All right, I'll give it up for him. I think so too. I'm just getting out of the way. The promos, man, they're going a little overkill though. It's like the same thing with anything else. There's just always another poster. How many posters do you think they made for Black Widow?
Every single character has their own, and
over and over and over.
There's like 40 villains. So
and there's always new trailers. I don't even like to watch the trailers at this point.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's for this though. I think I enjoyed it because I don't know a lot of these. There's a fucking guy named Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man.
Like I don't know who that is.
Yeah, there's like 15 probably plus characters in this thing.
It's not going to spoil anything if I watch that trailer. So I definitely know what you mean. I watch these intently because I'm very intrigued about what this is going to do. But you said it best. John Cena is enough. That's enough reason for me to watch it regardless.
Pete Davidson's in it too, though.
Oh yeah.
Margot Robbie, though, she's coming back. You know what I'm most interested to see? They got the same actress that's playing Amanda Waller, leader of the Suicide Squad. I'm interested to see how they do this movie and like when it takes place. And is it is it a full on reboot or is it coming off as like a weird sequel? I feel like we talked about this 6-7 months ago. I just honestly don't remember. I'm like, how are they going to do this? That's what I'm curious to see. And how will it tie into everything else the WB's doing with DC properties? We'll find out.
Yep. We'll be breaking it down, I'm sure.
I think so. Let's talk about what we're watching. Got a lot of non-superhero stuff here for you. Before we get to Loki after the break, let's go and get into what we're watching. Whatchu Watchin'? What you watching, or really doubles as what you reading. Whatever you're looking at out there that you like, you can let us know. You can write us in at mostlysuperheroes.com. Join the Facebook group. Give us a call. Andy, we're going to start with you. It's you and me today. Got a couple titles each. I know this is one of your favorites. You talk about it all the time. It's on our list, I promise. I think Mike's already watched maybe both seasons. Tell us about the second season of I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson on Netflix. How's it going for you?
Well, I had a watch party last night with a few friends.
Wow.
And
I guess the text got lost in the mail.
You didn't watch season 1,
so
you gotta
it's like that. Okay.
No, it's not like that, but you gotta be like in the cult of this show.
Yeah, this is one that you like. It's hard, raunchy, dry humor.
Yeah, it's right? Just silly, just dumb humor.
Okay.
Like every skit, it's just awkward situations that Tim Robinson used to write for SNL, and he does such a good job in this. He's the main actor in this. There's other people that are in it that play different characters each skit or whatever, but there's no plot or continuity to anything. It's just literally just sketch comedy, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. There's like maybe 3 or 4 per episode.
Yeah, okay.
Like 6 episodes in a season. So we watched it all in like an hour and a half last night, and I laughed so hard.
Yeah, this is one of those shows I've heard that takes, you need to go in with the mindset that it's like a special kind of humor, and it probably takes a little bit to get the rhythm of it. And what did PC Mike say? He wrote it in that text like perfectly.
80% great, 10% mad, 10% WTF.
That's really good. I like that. Because that seems to probably add up. But you really enjoy it. Is season 2, is it the whole season that's out now?
Yes, I've watched season 1 probably 50 times.
Oh my God.
It's like that's the good part about this. Like it literally just gets funnier every time you watch it, and it's just so stupid. There's literally a skit of a guy that was pissed that he was at work and he was pissed that they scheduled a meeting during his lunch. So he put a hot dog in his shirt, like basically in the arm of his shirt.
Okay.
So it was like poking out a little bit. So
like
it just kept showing him in a meeting, and he's like trying to awkwardly like try to eat part of this hot dog while he's like, I don't know.
No, I'd be dying.
It's just things like that, like completely ridiculous, like awkward situations that you would never even think of, and I just laugh so hard.
I want you to know. I know you've told us about this thing for so long now, and now there's a second season. I told Carrie, like I said, Carrie, we gotta watch this, and she's like, all right. So it's officially on the list. Like not even, I mean, it's not on the list until I like tell her about it. So
that's a good
it's
thing.
on the real life list.
It should be on everyone's list.
Okay.
And honestly, I'll just say this: it's my favorite show of all time.
Oh my God. I love it. You just put it out there. Oh my, this is your favorite show. I mean, how are we not going to talk about it? All right, listener, you got to tell us. Are you like Andy out there? There's got to be other people that love this, that are like diehard fans. I think you should leave. Tell us about it.
I would love to talk to all of them.
And I assume it's just going to keep going. I mean, you hope.
I hope it's a hit.
All right, and then you had a second one. So that was, I think you should leave on Netflix. Comedy. Go check it out. Comedy sketch. Go Tim Robinson. And the next one. This one can be shared. Carrie and I watched this last night.
Did you?
For the first time. We're talking about the brand new game show on Fox with the host Rob Lowe. It's called Mental Samurai.
It's a great show.
What
do you think?
I'll give you my raw reaction. I thought that it was kind of easy questions, and like a round would end, and I would think those were so easy. But I also know it's a timing component. It's like how many can you get in a time frame?
It's so addicting because it's I feel like it's so attainable because all you want to do is sit there and try to get every single one. So basically
simple riddles.
For nobody that's watched this, basically it's hosted by Rob Lowe.
I want to hear you describe this.
Yeah, it's hosted by Rob Lowe. There's this gigantic machine contraption called Ava in the middle of the room.
It's basically a life-sized claw machine, but instead of a claw, it's like a sphere. And you sit in the sphere, the contestant.
And it just shakes you around, flips you upside down in between each question that you get right. The goal is to get 10 in the lowest amount of time. I think you have 5 minutes max or something like that. Right. It's like questions like true, false, or put these things in the right order.
Or memory,
like things like that. So
there was a really fun one where they were like, they recited a story about a VHS store or something. They like just say a story and they go, what object was mentioned last? And
exactly.
I'm like, okay, they're
hard. They really are. Like that's what like I said, it's so addicting because it's so attainable, and I really like not watching it. I'm like, I want to be on the show, and I want to meet Rob Lowe, and I want to tell him that my favorite thing that he's ever been in was Super Troopers 2, because I guarantee no one in the whole world has ever told him that.
I'm trying to even think of his character in I can't even remember the storyline of Super Troopers 2. I feel like they upped the game.
If you haven't seen it, you should.
I have, but it's been a long time.
I enjoyed it very much.
That's right, because that's the one they had to like petition to happen, and it was coming for so long because they were like, we got to get the funding.
It has to do with the Canadians, and he's one of the.
Yeah, he's one of the. What do they call him? Canadian.
They're
cops.
Mounties, but yeah, I think he's like, I forgot. He's like the
lead,
the mayor or something like
that. So yes, he's the host. All right, so here's also what I thought about it. I thought the contestants were just like, I mean, it was like definitely like a Hollywood game show, right? Like the people on there were younger, I thought, like people that were in their 20s. I don't know if I even saw anybody like over 30 really. Maybe I just didn't watch long enough. There probably was. I'm sure they mix it up. They mix up the demographics, but it was like always somebody with a shtick, you know? And you know where I'm going with this, because this is your list now of shows to get on, right? Okay, so here's the secret. So we're gonna help you get on Mental Samurai and on Wheel of Fortune. So listeners, if you have any connections out there, can make this happen. We're trying to get the Giggler on both these shows. Am I wrong?
God, please do.
So here's what I noticed about the contestants. It seems like they always had like the same pattern of things. So first you had the former football player. that is also a voice talent actor. So he does like impressions and stuff. And he spends his free time tutoring students. And then there was a girl that was like, I have my own social media company, and I started it when I was 22, and my mom has cancer. It was like really sad, you know?
Yeah.
But like everybody had like 3 things that like Rob Lowe would like talk to him about. Did you notice how long he would talk to the contestants about their personal lives?
I mean,
it was ridiculous.
Yeah. No offense, but I would fast forward through those a lot.
I bet.
Because I'm here for just making, like, see if I can get those 10 straight. I've seen episodes where they get the first one wrong.
Oh, yeah. And like the poor girl with the mom that was sick, she got the 3rd one wrong.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I was like, come on, man. She's like, I wasn't paying attention.
It's the pressure. The pressure. I get it.
Well, and they're flipping you all around. But my point is, we need to brainstorm. We have to do it right now. We're going to brainstorm Andy's 3 shticks, and we're going to get these audition tapes out there.
Okay. Done.
All right.
I co-host the podcast.
I mean, you've got a story. And I'll really help you church it up.
Thank you. Because I'm really stuck finding interesting things about myself after that.
You just said, I'm on a podcast. Hey.
I watch game shows.
Can't think of. God, what else do I?
I like to watch TV.
I have 2 TVs in my living room. No, we'll figure him out. But okay, we'll try to get you on Mental Samurai. But overall, you recommend this to folks? I mean, I think I would at least.
Yeah, give it a shot.
If you're sitting there watching dinner and it's prime time, and you just want some background on, this show will be just fine. I mean, it's Rob Lowe. He's great.
Yeah, I'm just a sucker for these dumb new game shows that just like have no reason to be out, but they're there, and I'm like, this is entertaining.
They're ridiculous, and there are so many of them.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I can't like I've seen so many. You talk about that situation eating dinner. You flip kind of, and there's so many.
They have like they're hosted by the most obscure people. Like Dwayne Wade hosts something on like TNT or TBS or something.
Dwayne Wade's
called like The Cube. It's
great.
I saw a commercial the other day, so just add this to that list.
All right, we'll keep you apprised of game shows we're watching out there, and then I have a couple. So again, that's on Fox. And then 2 quick ones for me. First up, I'm looking at your face. You haven't seen this.
No.
I could tell. All right, so this is Dirty John on Netflix. There are 2 seasons, individual stories. The first one's called Dirty John, starring Eric Bana and Connie Britton. And the next one is called Dirty John Betty. Oh, you're going to have to help me here, Andy. Christian Slater is in the 2nd season. These are separate stories. And this girl, she's a big actress in the 90s. And I cannot believe I'm forgetting her name. While you're helping me out with this.
It's on the tip of my tongue as well.
You'll find it. This is Dirty John Betty, the Betty Broderick story. These are 2 seasons, 1 show on Netflix. I think it was originally on USA. And this actually comes from the podcast world. Found out about this because of my fiance, Carrie. She's listened to this. This Dirty John podcast is all about these stories. And they're very, very, very... mysterious, circumstances with real life, true stories about people that getting wronged in the real world, and you watching it play out, and then what's going to happen. It's like what's going to happen. Some of it ends violently. Some of it's blah blah blah. I don't want to give any. I don't want to give any spoilers. But what I'm going to say about this is a must watch.
Amanda Peet is that woman.
Thank you, Amanda Peet, Christian Slater. That's the Betty story. So it's 2 different stories, not connected at all. They're just like season 1's a story. Again, Eric Bana, he's in there, our Hulk guy. But want to put these in front of you guys. Must watch. If you like mystery, thriller, and also it's a true story. It felt like I was watching, what's the one on HBO? Big Little Lies? Or
sounds familiar.
The one with Nicole Kidman and Skarsgård.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's great. It's awesome. Reese Witherspoon. You guys know what I'm talking about, but and the one with Hugh Grant, Nicole Kidman.
Yep, yeah, that's
yeah, we can't remember any of the names of these. We're just looking at each other, but you know what I'm saying? Like these, like mystery, thriller, true crime shows that are like fictional, right? These are true stories. They're gonna blow your mind if you don't know about these. If you haven't heard the podcast, even if you have, I can tell you, Carrie had heard the podcast, I hadn't, and we both enjoyed the Dirty John season, and then she hadn't seen the Betty one, but highly recommend it. Must watch. It's on Netflix. Go check out Dirty John. If you're watching it out there, you've seen it. Andy's probably putting it on his list now for him and Steph, but if you've seen it out there, please write us in. Let us know what you think about it. I'm sure it's going to come full circle again with PC Mike and the Giggler.
For sure. The Undoing is that movie. See,
The Undoing. That's
we need PC Mike. We miss you.
Yeah,
shout out PC Mike.
Shout out PC Mike. We didn't realize how badly we needed that PC.
Exactly.
All right, so that's Dirty John. And then the last one for me, also a super quick one. Did you see this one?
I have not.
Man, I thought for sure you had seen this one. Talking about Chris Pratt in The Tomorrow War. You've heard about it. It's on Prime Video, Amazon Prime Video, a movie about a future war, and Chris Pratt's the main star, and it has time travel component and family component, and at the end of the day, it's just a good old-fashioned sci-fi movie that I really enjoyed. It's not getting great ratings out there. I don't think it's doing super hot.
We heard that on Twitter from my buddy Wyatt.
Wyatt? Who's
yeah,
that?
he tweeted us over the weekend, and it said, The Tomorrow War, this movie sucks, right?
That's what people were saying, but like I really didn't have any problems with it. It almost like it felt like a good story that, kept me hooked enough. It had great visuals, I thought, and just a fun story. Like, don't take it too seriously. Like, I don't think this would be winning any major awards, but I've learned to not put so much pressure on a movie that's really just meant to be a good time.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it for sure. It's got my attention, and our Whatchu Watchins are connecting because Sam Richardson, this fellow right here on the right,
Yep,
he is basically one of the stars of I Think You Should Leave. So
really,
yeah, he's in both seasons.
And guess who else is in this? J.K. Simmons.
Oh,
yep. And we still haven't talked about Invincible. I just want everybody to know that it's still on the radar. We are going to talk about it. We're not leaving it out.
There she is, right there.
Yeah,
never let us forget.
Still got Scott's book right here. So yeah, go check it out. The Tomorrow War. I'll throw a rating on it for you. It's not one that I'll probably ever need to watch again, but maybe if they made a sequel, you could convince me to kind of get back in the rhythm. I'd probably give it a solid 2.9.
Pretty good.
Not too bad. Yeah, go check it out. You and Steph put this on a Friday night. You're not going to have a bad time. It'll be good. All right. Let's get to the break, and when we come back, we have a lot of fun in the MCU town. We're going to be talking about season 1 of Loki, episodes 1 through 5. We're leading up to the big season finale coming just for you if you're listening right now in 2 days. Just stick around. We'll be right back.
You've heard others, but nothing could prepare you for the shameful stupidity that is the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Hear Imran.
So if you offend everyone at once, it's a wash. I've covered everybody.
Anthony.
Sorry, I was texting. Say that again.
And Rug Boy.
Yeah, whenever there's a snowstorm, my Slack hole tightens up.
As they talk over one another.
Just exactly the same
Connor
as
Terminator.
We're talking over each other. It's fine.
Sorry.
Swear.
I had boobies.
And ask you for money.
Just give us the money.
Witness the hubris as they claim to be the world's authority on comic book movies.
Who said?
Never said that. You've never said that.
Who cares? A jock said that.
Comic book, TV, movie reviews, news, and whatever they choose. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you find your favorite podcasts. The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
It's campy, silly, goofy fun.
Seriously, people really listen to this.
Jock and Nerd.
The meat. Welcome back from the break. This is Mostly Superheroes. I'm your host, Logan, here with the Giggler. And yes, it's time for the meat, the chunk, the sizzle. It's why you came. It's what you want. It's going to be the majority of today's episode. And during the break, me and the Giggler were just saying how excited we are to really just get ready for this finale of this Disney Plus MCU series, Loki. We're going to be talking about episode 5 today, but really it's going to be kind of a recap of 1 through 5 because we haven't been in here for 2 weeks. So we've got a few episodes backlogged.
3 to talk about total.
3 to talk about, but I feel like it'll be a good time to just recap it all. Where are we? Where do we stand? And if you don't know, you can find it all on our MCU page at mostlysuperheroes.com/MCU. If you didn't know, you now have a place to send people when they ask you, what order do I watch these movies in? You want to know how to watch the MCU? We have our preferred order. Like, not just the release order because it's the release order. We have the order that we like to watch it in, including Phase 4. So if you're like, I want to watch from all the way from back at Iron Man all the way through Phase 4, where do I go? That's the MCU page over at mostlysuperheroes.com. Go check it out. And today, all about episode 5. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah,
it
really is.
Like if I just go back, look at this thing. Look at this schedule.
It's
Look at the Phase 4 schedule for you podcast listeners. I mean, yeah, we've knocked out WandaVision this year. We've talked about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier already, and now we have 1 episode left of Loki. And man, I know we're going to talk about it at the end today. but we're seeing Black Widow tomorrow in theaters.
Oh baby. This is my favorite to-do list that I own.
Yeah, you got a to-do list, and this is what it looks like. It's just Marvel titles: What If, Shang-Chi, The Eternals, Hawkeye, Miss Marvel, Spider-Man, No Way Home. We don't even talk about 22 that much, but Multiverse of Madness, Thor: Love and Thunder, Wakanda Forever, The Marvels, Moon Knight, She-Hulk.
You basically have
My
two
God.
straight years of not movies coming out every 3 months max. 4 months is a long time without a movie in that span. So
and I want to get to Loki, but I mean, you're so right. I said this to Carrie earlier today. She asked, she's like, "How's it going? Like, how's it going watching all these Marvel shows? Because it's it's different." And I said, "It's a lot. It's really a lot. It's almost overwhelming because you have something so often, especially with weekly episodes, where think about it. We used to get 3 Marvel movies in a year. That would be an amazing year. You'd be like, oh my God, we got 3. And then before that, it was like 1. And now it's how many? I mean,
it's impressive.
You get
that
12
they have
per
the
year.
time to have all of this going on at the same time while also planning so much in the future.
Yes, and that Marvel method, though, you hope they're going to do it right. They did it right with the Infinity War, but today is about Phase 4, title number 26 in the MCU. It is Loki, and we're on episode 5, titled Journey into Mystery. Spoiler alert right now for the episode. It clocked in at 50 minutes, and the description reads, Disney Plus, Loki tries to escape the void, capitalized, so that must be like a Marvel place, I feel like. A desolate purgatory where he meets variant versions of himself. Boy, oh boy, did he. We meet all sorts of Lokis in this episode. We already threw out that spoiler alert. And man, Andy, I'm so excited. I haven't talked to you about this show since episode 2 when you were here. So much has happened. We've had episodes 3, 4, and 5. And a lot has happened. And a lot's also not happened, as I was kind of saying, if I'm being honest, about 3 and 4. A little slower in the middle.
Yeah.
Want to hear your thoughts. How's the show been going for you? How do you feel going into this season finale?
I love it. The last 2 episodes have saved it for sure. Episode 3 on Momentous was a little, like you said, was a little slow. Basically just I get it. They got to have character development for this woman that we're just meeting now. That's female Loki. So
Yes.
I understand that, but 4 and 5 really take the cake. They
Brought it back home.
for some of my favorite episodes, across probably all these shows.
Yeah, well said. I feel the exact same way. I feel like, 3 and 4, 3 for sure. We haven't talked since 2. 3 was Lamentus. It opened on Lamentus, where, Loki and Sylvie, and ended on Lamentus. The only big thing happening in the episode, let's go ahead and catch ourselves up to this episode 5. They have this love moment, right? To where they're falling in love, and it shows the biggest type of Nexus event happening on the screen at the TVA. That's how they were able to find him, right? So that's how they rescued him. Something's with that. What's it mean? These two are falling in love. This is absolutely something the TVA seems not to want. It sets off their alert system, and I think that led to probably what we saw here in episode 5. So let's do this. Episode 5, just real quickly for you listener, just if you're wanting to know kind of high level what happened. I still want to do this kind of 1 to 5 recap for everybody, because let's set up the show and say, what are we going to expect in this finale? 5 is super simple, right? Ended 4, Loki got zapped with one of the pointy sticks by the Time Variance Authority police. I don't know what they call that thing. Do you?
Pruners. I don't know.
I think it's
so weird.
Pronger or
they're called being pruned is what it's called, but that's just so weird.
So that was the big reveal. The Time Keepers. We already threw out the spoiler alert. These are the big ones. They're not real. They're robots. Their heads came off and everything's falling apart, but we still don't know who it is. And Sylvie's left behind. Loki gets zapped. That's the end of the episode. Episode 5 opens up.
Mobius too. Don't forget about him.
Mobius also. That was the big stuff in 4. Good job. Yeah, because that one was the one that hit kind of for real.
Yeah.
But I was still like, this zappy stuff isn't what we think it is.
I know. I thought the same thing.
I looked at Carrie, I go, don't worry. I go, it's only episode 4. I was like, they're not going to, you think Mobius isn't going to be in 5?
Well, then as soon as Loki got hit too, I was like, okay,
Oh.
Mobius will be fine.
Well, then I started thinking about all of it. Everybody that's ever been pruned, every reality that they were destroying. I'm going to give myself some props here.
That is true.
I said this early in the series. I was like, listen, I know that we've heard that every time they leave one of these time bombs, they're blowing the place up. I just wasn't buying it. Now what seems more likely is that they're just moving what seems all right. So let's just explain it. Once you get pruned, you get taken to what's called the void. This is the purgatory area where Loki wakes up. He's on his back, and what's he wake up to? Almost an Avengers style pose, but it's all Lokis. You have classic Loki, Kid Loki, and boastful Loki.
Yeah. Crocodile Loki.
Crocodile.
Alligator Loki.
Alligator.
Wrong one.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not a crocodile.
The MVP of the episode for
so
real.
Great, hilarious. I was dying when they like fought each other over whatever he had like said. They're like two Lokis fighting.
Yeah.
But you wake up in this place at the end of time that is apparently the end of time and just this space where basically everything else falls. You know, it's like if you're a variant or if you get pruned with this thing, you end up there. And what happens next? You get eaten or disintegrated more there, hunted even by what's the name of this thing?
Alioth?
Alioth.
So this is what is crazy though.
The purple smoke monster.
Yes, exactly.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah.
Well, we're calling
Smoke monster from Lost.
Trademark.
Never thought I'd see that again.
Hey, you said it in the text earlier. Brandon Davis, I heard you say it on Phase Zero. I'm going to give myself and Andy credit. We said it first in a text message. Then you said it, but still, we both said it.
Check the receipts.
So, all right, so tell us about this Alioth thing.
So, okay, so you talked about what happens like when they're resetting the timelines and they have those little cylinders.
Yes.
Like
the purple
what
bombs.
looks in there looks exactly like
It's purple.
that thing. Yeah.
So is Agatha's powers.
That's true, but I'm
I know, not unrelated.
Oh, please.
I
Don't
know,
even
right?
say it's Agatha at the end.
And she sings her song again. Okay, so they're there. I'm just trying to recap the episode real quick so that we can kind of get to the big stuff. We also find out that Mobius is not dead. He's in a car driving around. Sylvie back at the TVA with what's her name? I looked
Ravana.
at Ravana.
Renslayer, yeah.
Good job. Ravana's the lead stuff. She's like, how do I get to Loki? How do I save him? Can't figure it out. What does she do? Prunes herself, sends herself there. The plan is simple. Loki and Sylvie are going to try to enchant Alioth, which means to me her using her powers to like mind control.
Yeah.
Sedate.
I got that vibe as soon as I saw like when she like has that vision for
in
like
the
a second.
beginning when she has it in the beginning. Because I did go, what was that?
Yeah.
Carrie,
like,
I said that to
she's
Carrie, and
gonna-
Carrie's looking at me like, how would I know what that was? So that's what that was. She like did it for a moment. So now she wants to do it big time. Mobius is going to go back to the TVA, try to straighten out stuff there. And then the Loki friends say they leave, but then classic Loki shows all of Asgard using his powers to trick the monster. Loki and Sylvie do enchant this thing. It like goes to sleep. Classic Loki does pass. He dies, sacrifices himself. That actor was great. Love that character.
Me
You
too.
agree?
Agreed.
It
For
was
sure. He was the second MVP to Alligator Loki.
So the
for sure.
alligator.
And his like portal thing looked like he was straight out of Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
Like
it was just a green.
just a green hole.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. So then they do. So Loki and Sylvie do enchant it. The thing like lays down, opens up, and what do we see? A castle in the background at the edge of time, past this monster. That's Sylvie's whole thing, right? This is the monster they don't want us to see. That must be what's hiding what we need to see. Very smart logic, if you ask me. And they see this castle with a tower and a light. Am I missing anything that we saw when that thing opened up that made you think?
I have
Because
no
the
clue.
question is very clear. Who is this? What is this?
And I don't know the answer to any of that.
You don't.
No.
I was hoping you would.
No.
Even with all of our books and our studies, I was reading the encyclopedia today. I read on Loki. I read on.
I mean, I have
A lot.
I have a prediction. I don't know. I don't know if we want to get. We'll get to that probably later. But
Well, I mean, if you have it locked and loaded, like I don't want you to forget.
no, it's on my list.
Oh
Don't
yeah,
worry.
you brought your notes. Thank you for
Don't
that.
worry.
All right, so that's what they see, and then they walk through the monster, and that's episode 6. The finale is who. Now we can talk about it, right? This is what this whole series has become, which is fine. I didn't know that's what the story was going to be, but it has become, and what it is, was intentionally, who is behind the TVA, who is trying to have one sacred timeline to rule them all, who's transporting all of these other variants and timelines to the void to be killed because it behooves them. Is it, let's just throw out some names, another Loki is a big theory. Like this could be another Loki that's like an older version or a different version that lived a different life that's made all of this happening. That's why Loki's so center focused, right?
I completely agree with that. That's was going to be my
That's your prediction.
Prediction.
You want to put it on the record right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because like we talk about hyping ourselves up about these shows as being like there's going to be so many big things revealed in it. Like that's not what they're made for. They're not going to reveal the next villain of the phase and at the end of a Loki season. It's gonna be
exactly.
maybe something that can give breadcrumbs to get there, but it's not going to be directly. So
You are spot on, my friend. I said this in the Fresh Take earlier today on the episode. Exactly right. Like, look at how we look at WandaVision. Look at Falcon the Winter Soldier. WandaVision was Agatha, but like Agatha teases that there's more to it and that you don't know who you've awoken or whatever she says. Falcon Winter Soldier. It wasn't really about the Flag Smashers. It really wasn't about John Russell or what Wyatt
Walker.
John Walker. You know, those were characters and things happening because it's a TV show. But they're not going to reveal. You're so right, like in a TV show. So, or it could be King the Conqueror. I mean, that would be a big, massive villain. That would be exactly what we just described. That's what that would be
Yeah,
more.
not going to be that.
It can't be because there hasn't been anything else in the show to it. But maybe I don't know. I don't want to WandaVision myself here. You know, out theory myself.
We've, just like you were saying, we had some good calls.
Or what if it's not a Loki at all though, and it's just like another character that's kind of not irrelevant, but like a Loki character, right? A beeline. Like, what if it was like a different version of Lady Sith or something that you like didn't see coming, but that wouldn't be that relevant. I could see them doing something like that that would be much more clever than what I just said.
I think it'll be. I don't know. It's not going to be Kang, but I think it's just going to be another Loki. It's or something to that level,
right?
Or somebody that we don't know yet.
And then we know what we learned about Loki's too. Is that they're much more powerful than like I ever realized with their illusions.
Yeah.
Well,
they talked a lot about like how they're way more powerful than they even know. So like this could just be like peak Loki.
Peak Loki giving the most massive illusion. Because what did we hear? Classic Loki said in his timeline, he made his illusion so great in front of Thanos that Thanos thought he killed him, and then that classic Loki went and lived on his own on a planet by himself. And then that very same Loki just now in this episode 5, again, Journey into Mystery, great title. He produces an illusion of the entirety of Asgard. And even Sylvie goes, how's he doing that? And Tom Hiddleston Loki says, we're more powerful than we think. So yeah, this could be some big master illusionist that's like so good. It's almost like Mysterio on steroids, you know? Like he can show you stuff with drones.
Yeah.
You know, Loki's the god of mischief. Okay, we'll see. Let's talk about some other key points of the episode and anything else from also, I'll say this, anything else from episodes 3, 4, and 5 that we didn't get to hash out. You know, I'm just basically at this point preparing for this finale.
I can't wait. I really can't.
I know, because it's hard not just getting predictions of what we're going to see, but
I know.
But I just really don't know.
I'm just going to read off the Easter eggs of just all the crazy shit that was in the background of all these scenes.
So, yeah, talking about the void. Again, this was like the edge of time. Let's set this up. There wasn't any like specific year. It's just it's just a place where all things fall.
It's just that there's trash.
There's a lot of trash from every multiverse.
The smoke monster is the trash compactor.
He's like the trash incinerator.
Yeah.
Almost. Okay, so with that context, yeah, let's just talk some of the stuff you see in this thing, because I got some from memory that I saw on Instagram.
So Thanos copter.
What? Yeah, that's comic accurate.
Yeah. Couldn't believe
it's a legit helicopter and all. If you're wondering, listener, what it looks like, it's a yellow helicopter and it says Thanos on the back.
It was like in the middle. If anyone missed that, you need to get your eyes checked.
I missed it.
Too obvious. Really?
Yeah, but you know why? I think whenever that scene opens up and they're going over like what I thought was New York, I was literally going, okay, it's New York. Okay, there's Stark Tower, but it didn't say Stark on it.
Yeah.
It said Kang.
Kang?
It was like Quang, like with a Q, I think. And I'm also stealing this from Phase Zero. I heard this on Phase Zero today. But Brandon Davis was saying that he was looking closer at that Stark Tower. That was Avengers Tower. But anyway, yeah. So Thanos copter. What else you got?
There was a shield helicarrier that was out there.
Cool.
Ronin ship.
Giant
yellow jacket helmet.
Yeah, yellow jacket from Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yep. And
or actually from Ant-Man.
You see the scene where they were going down down that hole, and they were showing like what was
Yes.
beneath it, but there was a frog Thor that was from the comic books.
Oh my gosh, that's what that was in the jar.
Yes,
I go, what was that? And I just kept going.
I'm gonna read that one for sure.
You know, it's funny. This is the first time I haven't rewatched one of these shows before the pod, and I'm like realizing it. Like, you really need that extra watch. Did you watch it more than once?
Only once.
Oh wow.
We should have watched it again.
We should have. We just put it on next time for the finale.
Should we just start over?
You know what? Back it up. Rewind the tape.
Yeah, let's reverse time.
Okay. Anything else that you saw Easter eggy?
So young Loki, Kid Loki.
Kid Loki. Yes.
He gives that
The dagger.
the dagger to Loki, and that's like basically from the comics that Kid Loki had a dagger that looked just like that. So evidently he was a pretty big character that we might look into this person being like the young Avengers that they're kind of setting up through all these movies.
Yeah,
because it's just like a younger version of just everybody. Like they're just like kind of off, might not be a big part of the show, but like they're there, and
yes, and I agree. It's
all speculation.
If you're someone that listens to shows like this, you've probably been hearing this circle around that. Yeah, this kid Loki, even other Lokis, but like this kid one specifically, young Avenger coming up. I will just say this: like to me, it doesn't like mean I will say as much, and I guess that's just maybe because we're not gonna be able to help the fact that we are as old as we are, and we've seen the movies in the order that we saw them. To where like there's definitely gonna be a component of like. Think of the guys you knew that were 25 years older than you that would tell you that this Star Wars movie was better than this one. You have a certain perspective of things to where, like, I'm not going to lie, like, I don't really give a shit about Kid Loki. But I understand that, like, well, Disney definitely cares, and, like, they got to hit all parts of the audience, but it's also why I'm worried.
And he killed Thor.
And he killed Thor. So what a great origin story.
That blew my mind when he said that. And you could tell Loki was like,
our
Loki. Was like,
right.
Wow.
Could have done that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Like, how many redemptions does Loki have now in our lives? Like, we've seen them all, but obviously this is not the same Loki that is in the MCU that we know prior to this, but
the one that we saw get killed by Thanos.
Yes,
no, this is a different one now. And like now, I'll be honest, if I talk about the storytelling, things that did like warm the heart, made me kind of feel good. Whenever he says goodbye to Mobius and he leaves at the end of the episode, hugs him, and he calls him a friend. And then the ultimate question here, it's a theme throughout the episode, and of course the story of this whole series is, what is a Loki? Who is Loki? And Loki is a person that betrays you and lies to get what he wants, like always and always. And it happens throughout this episode. We meet the other Tom Hiddleston Loki, the Loki president that was teased out for months and months and months. Look what it was, Andy. 2 minutes. It was cool.
And he gets his hand bit off.
He gets his hand bit off. That was great. So I laughed.
Alligator.
At that. I love that.
Alligator was the MVP, like I said.
MVP. But the question is, does he love Sylvie? And are either of them? I mean, they have this big heart to heart at the end of like, are you going to be there for me at the end of this? Like, could we do this together? Like, and they're both just in. She goes, I don't know how to do this. And he's like, I don't know what we're doing. And I'm sitting here like really empathizing with these two as like thinking about them as Lokis going, I mean, really at the end of the day, they're just like you and me. They're just like, hey man, like if you're in a relationship, like you're going, are you going to F with me? Like, are you effing with me? I tell Carrie all the time, I'm like, are you effing with me? I'm like, cause you could like shatter my whole world. You just like wake up one day, you're like, I was kidding. Like, that's what Sylvie's saying. She's like, are you going to come help me do this? And they do it together.
Or are you going to just F me over and be the god of mischief again?
Because we're Loki. Yeah. But we're people.
Maybe this show's a lot deeper than we
that just happened naturally. And I'm feeling like, maybe it's not so bad. In 5, I'll repeat what you said. Episode 5 got me jazzed for this finale. 3 and 4 really had me worried. And here's what I think happened. Here's exactly what I think happened. I think that you were taking, first of all, a Marvel TV show, openly a TV show, not a movie, and you're writing it the same way you've always written Marvel stuff, but you're making it 1 hour at a time for 6 weeks, or WandaVision 9 weeks. And for me, I feel like there's no way to not like accidentally stretch the writing a little bit. So
Yeah.
you just end up with more filler because it's TV. So I think that this may be intentional. It might not. But you said it best during the break, or maybe it was before we started, that the movies will probably always, hopefully, be like the big event, and these TV shows are meant to be TV shows in between, to be like extra kind of live action comic book style for us diehard fans.
Yeah.
But the rest of the
exactly.
world will be able to go see Black Widow and Doctor Strange and have a good experience, hopefully.
For sure.
So when you take that context in, well, hell, Loki's very good.
It is impressive. Especially like I said, the last few episodes were so good, and I have high hopes for the last one. Of course, I'm not expecting a major reveal.
Right.
I think we just got to temper those expectations. I think that's why we kind of knew that going into the Falcon and Winter Soldier, because we kind of got too excited about the WandaVision finale.
Exactly. And we were more realistic there. But we were disappointed a little bit. But, with that context, you look back, Falcon Winter Soldier, also not that bad. I think that we came out of the pandemic, too, just like we hadn't seen anything. Everything had been delayed a year and a half. And you look at TV shows and you put them on this pedestal. And I think that even, I'm talking about myself right now, I really think I was putting a lot of pressure on these shows.
Mhm.
And then you get caught up in that Twitter game. People are just so harsh on the internet. And I really think that, these are pretty good. Let's
100%.
talk about either predictions, or I don't want to leave off any other notes
that's-
from the episode, and make sure. I'm trying to think if I missed anything in this one.
Honestly, I think I just have predictions left and not too much, but I just pray that we see Mobius in a jet ski in the finale.
That's what the high hopes are, is that we're going to
And
get him maybe back in his own life, his own
Please.
timeline.
Like that their hug scene was
Ugh.
that got me.
That was good. I liked that too.
But through all this, I think Miss Minutes, I need to see more of what the hell she really is. She's very sus.
I mean, it almost seems like it's her.
It could be. I don't know.
Like she's it, and maybe either she's an AI. I also thought about this. Talk about like the master plan, right? The timekeepers were robots. Well, then they had the anti-robot machine for when you check in to the TVA.
Yes.
So it goes deep. It's like deep psychological mind
Yes.
games.
I thought about that. I was like, what? I don't know what that means. That's just
it
irony or
No, it means it can't be robots. We got the anti-robot machine.
oh yeah.
But Miss Minutes, she runs the place, and even all the way to the end. What's that timekeeper cop lady's name? Ravana.
Yep.
She, even at the end of this episode, where she's now wondering who the timekeepers are, she wants to figure it out. I've also looked up Ravana in the encyclopedia. Maybe I'll tell it, maybe I won't. And
I think I know what you're talking about.
And she asked Miss Minutes again for the files on the beginning of time. And Miss Minutes is like, oh boy, that's pretty deep in the archives. She even sounds like the Jurassic Park.
There's something off about her for sure.
Well,
I hope
who's
we get to
running
see.
it? Who's running that?
Yeah,
It's just a computer program? I don't think so.
But what you're gonna say about Ravana?
Well,
is
I'll
it
say
about,
it, I guess. If we're
is
getting-
it
if
about
we're-
connection to
Yeah,
someone?
if we're getting in
Well,
prediction town,
We could just tell people to look it up themselves if they want.
that's fair. Because
Because
if it is a spoiler, you don't want to do that.
I've been aware of that since the first episode, and I did not want to say anything.
Okay,
just
well,
because
let's-
of comics reading, I thought it was too much to say. But it was because in my head, I mean,
Well, once
this
you
is all-
read it, the problem with that is once you read something like that, then you just start thinking, well, of course that's it. But then you find out that they don't follow the comics, really.
Yes, exactly,
Which is great.
exactly. But maybe they chose that person just because they knew that people would speculate certain things. I don't know.
Exactly. Because when you actually look at all the comic stories of characters that intertwine, everybody shows up at some point related to some storyline. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be exactly what they were. It's like, okay, we talk about time travel. I'll just say this, listener. Ravana revolves around things surrounding time travel in the comics. So when you go down that road, you could read something that's like, well, if that's true, I don't want to cling to that too much.
Yeah.
So I think you're
And
spot on.
Honestly, just overall, everyone just should read comics because I'm still having a great time doing such.
With Marvel Unlimited?
Yeah, I read the Infinity Gauntlet
Oh man.
with Thanos, and it was really good.
Was it awesome?
It was like
was
nothing like Infinity War, really. So
Oh.
in Endgame, so it was kind of like that's exactly what you just said. They're not direct copies, but
You've almost broken me down.
it was
I'm
cool to
about to
see-
subscribe to this
see
thing.
like the callbacks like in reverse almost because I'm reading the source material after. But just
Yeah.
for instance, like there's a scene in there where or a clip where someone goes through Doctor Strange's like house, just like the Hulk did, and it was a different character in there. So it's just kind of interesting to see things like that.
Like you see that and you're like, okay, this was the same but different.
It was the Silver Surfer, and I'm just like,
of course.
I know I don't know a lot about this person, so I just keep.
I do.
Yeah, exactly.
All because of that 1998 TV show that I actually finished, and I'm just rewatching it now.
I'm halfway through, so.
Oh, that's great. It's fun. I mean, do you enjoy it?
Yeah.
It's great. Okay, so focusing on Loki. All right, big predictions. I think we've gone through a couple that we've talked about. 3 big names. It could be a Loki, a King the Conqueror, maybe Miss Minutes, somebody at the TVA that we haven't even thought of. You know who we haven't seen in a while? Infinity Stone desk guy.
Oh man.
And he was one of the first people we met.
That's so funny.
And he has all the Infinity Stones. Maybe he's like figured out something, or he hides in plain sight. Marvel's the type of show that like could really do something to you like that.
I'm ready for anything, and I'm not gonna be upset if it's not to. I don't know. It's not gonna be Kang.
It's almost impossible to like actually think about. Like I'm trying to think about how this would end. I don't even know.
I know that's
because like, is this Loki gonna live?
That's what I'm most excited about.
Is there gonna are these characters going to be reset and put back into their own timelines? Is there gonna be something like that to where all of the multiverse comes back? See, I think it does end maybe like this: multiverse is real, and everything's back, and people maybe get put back, and this is where we get multiverse of madness because it's just chaos.
That's true.
And everybody comes back at once, and like it's big, high stakes. And my hope is that Loki and Sylvie move forward in the MCU. I really hope that like one of them doesn't have to die, because I could see them killing one of them, and maybe and maybe it's a swan song for Tom Hiddleston's Loki, but I just don't. Who knows? I'm just rambling theories at this point.
Same. I don't know. That's whatever they do. I'm ready for it.
I think we can agree.
1 week.
I think we can agree. We're excited for this.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's how you know how successful successful this show is, because of how excited I am to watch this next week. Like, we have a movie tomorrow that I've hardly even thought about because I want to see this finale.
Can we talk about it? No, this is one of those moments where I'm really appreciating this podcast, because I came in here kind of on the negative side. And then as I talk through it and I think about it and I reflect, well, then you start to kind of sort through how you feel about it. So hopefully we're helping you guys out there, listener. Tell us what you're thinking of this show. We want to hear from you between now and next week. If you're listening to this on Monday or Sunday, if you're a Patreon subscriber, this episode 6 is coming for you just in a couple days. We would love to feature you during fan mail or during the meet when we talk about episode 6 next week. Loki, man, the series is wrapping up, and phase 4 continues. You can find it all at mostlysuperheroes.com/MCU. All the connections, the watch order, everything you need is there. Let's talk about what's coming up. Plenty happening on the show. Lots going on. We don't want you to think we've forgotten about our DCU rewatch. More movies coming. Superman 2 is next, and more titles after that. So DC folks, you'll get your fix, and just watch our social channels for updates on when that's coming. Andy, I think you watched this already. I have not. I know it's short. It's sweet. I think it's 8 minutes on Disney+. We're talking about The Simpsons, The Good, The Bart, and The Loki, a Disney+ special, a MCU parody episode of the beloved show The Simpsons.
It's pretty good. I'm not a Simpsons fan, so I don't. Honestly, I'm probably not the best person to judge this. Like, I have nothing.
It's pretty good.
I have nothing bad to say about The Simpsons at all, ever. I just never really watched it a lot growing up, but I turned this on just out of curiosity of what the heck it even was. But just seeing all the characters, like I know all the characters from just watching it here and there.
Like look at this poster. It's so great.
It's so funny. Like the whatever the kid that's Hulk. What's his name?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know the names of The Simpsons, really. I watched it like somewhat. I'm not a diehard fan. It's definitely like something when I was a kid, I loved it, and I love parody episodes too. So, there's some like I definitely have like mixed feelings about this. It's like Disney is, Jock and Nerd, full credit to those guys. They talked about this on their episode this week. They're merging the Disney properties You know, you're seeing the effects of Disney owning the MCU. You've probably seen a lot more commercials with your favorite heroes in them recently, which is just kind of gross to me, but it's happening. You know, there's, what is it, Hyundai, and they literally had Captain America full suit. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
well,
a WandaVision commercial the other day that I saw
oh,
in a car commercial.
the
I was like,
car.
what? That show was like a year ago, right?
Yeah. I mean, Loki's already in it too. He has the mouth guard. It's him. Like, it's full outfit.
Wow.
And there's other stuff too. This is another example of that. You're going to get that. You can't forget that Disney's the other half of the media world out there. I'll definitely be watching it. I think it's like, what, 6 minutes?
Yeah, it takes like 4 minutes of watching.
So it's really that short?
Yeah.
Man, did you watch the Family Guy
Just keep
ones?
watching because it keeps like it fools you to think there's a credits are over and then
Right.
it's not over. So just watch.
Keep watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I love the parody ones from Family Guy when they do the
Yes.
Star Wars
Yes.
stuff. And
So good.
But they like do 3 episodes.
Yeah. This is on a much smaller scale. I would love if they did a full episode. I'd watch it for sure.
And maybe this was just a taste.
Nerd out for sure.
Let us know, listener, viewer, if you're out there watching the Simpsons MCU special, The Good, the Bart, and the Loki. Let us know how it goes, and we'll keep you posted after we watch it. We'll definitely be talking about it on this show. Like I said, wasn't dying to see it or anything, but I'll definitely watch it. Phase 4, man. We're wrapping up Loki next week. I can't believe it. I remember talking about this show 2 years ago. You know, got a huge delay, and we're wrapping up these first 3 major series. And next up is Black Widow, which we're going to talk about that in just a minute. And at some point this summer, what if the animated show is supposed to be coming?
That'll be fun to talk about.
That'll be a great one, especially with multiple episodes. We'll just be able to, we'll nerd out. We're going to nerd out about it. Shang-Chi, though, that'll be the last movie of the summer, September 3rd. All right, so let's just go and talk about it, man. Tomorrow's the day. You, me, our ladies, we're going to see it.
I love how we already set up how we have to sit too.
Yeah, I was like, I have to sit by you. Yeah, for sure. We got to nerd out. We're gonna be wearing mostly superhero stuff. I was gonna tell you to do that.
Oh yeah, I already got my shirt ironed and hanging, ready to go.
Oh wow, I got to do that. I'm probably just gonna wear this one if I'm honest. But Black Widow, man, first time for me back to the theater.
Same
for you?
Yeah.
And it's an MCU film, so thrilled. And we were talking about kind of the timing of this movie, and kind of how the TV shows are, feeling a little Disney-fied, which is fine. And, it's something that you have to expect and take everything you see with a grain of salt. But this movie, even though it is Phase 4, it's technically Phase 4, it was made right around the time of Spider-Man Far From Home. It was delayed so long that it was supposed to be the first thing we see.
Right.
The very first. So now you're looking at it like, okay, now I'm going to see this movie. Let's just set it up. If you don't know, no spoilers ever. But the synopsis is this is going to take place after Captain America Civil War and before Avengers Infinity War.
Okay.
So that's the timing. She's going back to Russia. We're going to meet her family. And we understand this to be a swan song for Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff. And Florence Pugh is supposed to be taking the mantle as Black Widow. Whether these are things that we just kind of know about, but that, no story details. We know the villain is Taskmaster. And we know we're going to see David Harbour as the Russian version of Captain America. It's escaping my name or my head. I mean,
yeah, I don't know what that guy's name is.
Something Soldier or Red Guardian.
Yep, that's it. Okay,
so pretty cool. I mean, man,
it just looks like it's going to be a MCU like spy or like Mission Impossible film.
Yeah, Mission Impossible. A lot of planes, a lot of espionage.
So I'm ready for that. That seems like a good transition into back into this universe in the film side anyways. I'm just so excited for
it. Almost feels good. Like, I don't know, like I've enjoyed the new stuff for sure. I don't know, I hope I'm not like becoming a bitter old man, but I'm like it's gonna be cool to see like an OG Avenger. Like, spoiler alert for Avengers Endgame. If you don't know about this character, big spoiler coming. Big pause.
You gotta be clear.
Big pause. She's dead. Okay, she did a big sacrifice, and it's over. So this is really one of the OG Avengers.
But, right,
This is like watching a Iron Man like 0.5.
We never got a funeral for her.
No, we didn't.
Like Tony got one, obviously. So
you're so
she
right.
Never got.
All we got was
she never even got like.
All we got was Professor Hulk throwing that bench.
Yeah.
across the lake.
Exactly.
He's
So-
like, she's gone.
So yeah, I mean that is kind of what's unique about this. So I'm ready. I'm just ready to be entertained.
Yeah,
Eat some popcorn,
entertained.
probably some candy.
Don't put too much pressure on it. You know we're getting an end credit scene.
I
What do you
was
think it's
gonna
gonna
ask
be?
what your prediction is going to be for that.
I think it's got
It's
to
my
be.
one thing I wrote down on Black Widow.
The question is, did they, was there one that they already had planned 2 years ago that we'll still see?
Mhm.
And then, now there's all the new stuff. So now what do you do? Do you show something that we know Florence Pugh will be in? So maybe a end credit scene that could tease out the show Hawkeye. We could also see something that's just straight up out of nowhere. This would be more probably realistic because if you look at Marvel's track record with the end credit scenes and how they actually tie to the movie, they only do sometimes. Usually it was something that was much bigger down the road. So
Okay.
you could see something multiversy is what I'll say.
Okay.
So, but I'm predicting 2 end credit scenes.
I like that idea
Because you
And
get
you're-
one for Black Widow and then one that's for future stuff. There's my prediction.
I like the Hawkeye one. That would make sense.
What do you think?
Like your suggestion there. So I agree that two is what I would think that they would do. One being the Hawkeye setup, and the other, I think it's going to be something regarding what's that? Julie Louis Dreyfus's character. She has the 10 names.
Oh,
Contessa
yes.
Veo,
Contessa.
Valentina
Yep.
Fontenegro, something like that.
You're really, I think you, I don't know if you nailed it, but you really got through it pretty well.
Yeah, I looked it up.
Val. It says,
yeah,
call me
yeah,
Val.
Val. Call her Val. Okay. Something with
don't.
with that. I don't know. I know that Taskmaster seems like a pretty cool villain, but I don't know if
Yes.
that's going to be something that could be a villain in another movie or property or something,
Right,
or
like
if it's
who-
just a one and done.
Because this is Rumorville. I don't even like to read this stuff, but I heard that there was maybe a world where she was in this movie, even as just a one-time off thing. Val.
Oh, okay.
Val.
Oh, gotcha.
Talking about Black Widow. Because you're right. Same world.
Yeah, they did say that this is supposed to be was supposed to be the first time that we met that character.
Yes.
I don't think that. I mean, I guess we know that she's going to be in it,
But maybe it's something even tied to the other Captain America we met, kind of combining this, setting up something that you look at as a movie viewer that wouldn't know maybe a lot about the
Yeah.
other U.S. agent now.
correct. Something with that. Who
Something
knows?
in that world. Yeah, totally. I am also hoping, kind of this is prediction town, I guess, that we'll definitely get some cameos. We're definitely gonna have. I've heard that maybe there's a Robert Downey Jr. And
Ooh.
in what form, right? Could be his voice. Could be an old video that's from a legit movie that he's already been in, or is it a younger version of him or something?
Hawkeye and Hulk for sure, though, right? Gotta be.
I mean, right? Are we gonna see? And who is Taskmaster?
No clue.
We don't even know.
Gotta look. I need to look that up in the encyclopedia for real.
I mean, I don't even know if we want to spoil it.
Yeah, it was just actually just kind of nice to go in with a fully open mind.
Hey, on the first 23 movies, guess what? I hadn't read a thing, and I loved them.
Right.
And guess what? I started a podcast. So, I really love this stuff. We'll read about it just for our own fun, but we won't spoil it for you guys. Black Widow, if you're going to see it, if you're not, go see it, because we're going to be talking about it week after next. Well, if you're listening right now, next week, this next episode, for sure.
No doubt.
So we're going to be talking about Loki, season finale, and then Black Widow.
Wow.
One episode. Super episode. MCU episode, baby. Next week.
Done.
Ready for that?
DC rewatch takes a back seat.
I'm
Sorry.
sorry, man. You got to go on hold for a minute. I mean, we got some big stuff happening.
Hey.
And you know what? The guys at Disney Plus and Marvel Studios, they're like, because this was their whole plan. They're like, people won't even have time to watch anything else. That's sad, almost.
Great success for them.
Well, good for them. But we're not leaving. We're doing the DCU rewatch though.
Oh, I'll do this till I die. So
That's right. You're catching on. All right, perfect. Black Widow, let us know if you're watching it. Let us know how it goes for you, and we'll get you featured on the big MCU episode coming up. And it's all happening at mostlysuperheroes.com. We got something going on most days out there. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can get our weekly newsletter, Logan's Letter, totally free if you subscribe at the website. Totally free if you subscribe to the Mostly Superheroes Squad on Facebook. And if you want to be like Dan, who sounds like he's coming on to be a Patreon patron, and also the fellas at Jock and Nerd have been patrons as well.
thank
Appreciate
you to you
guys.
boys.
Anybody that gets onto the Patreon page at mostlysuperheroes.com, it is mostlysuperheroes.com/Patreon. You can donate as little as you want. You can do 50 cents. You can do $1. If you want to know what it goes into, it goes right back into this show. This is a freelance job here, as the way I look at it. It's my free time, my passion project, and everything that we ever get from you folks. First of all, we appreciate it, but it goes right back into the studio. Better quality, better sound, better guests, better content. Maybe we'll get Giggler some more Mostly Superheroes merch. Who knows where that money will go? And yeah, all at mostlysuperheroes.com. New episodes on Monday, Sunday for Patreon patrons.
Yeah, get me a shirt that I don't
gosh.
lose this time. I'm still sorry for that.
Yeah, what happened with that? You brought it. We had it over here
You gave it to me
as
while
a
we were
gift.
As a gift while we were in this basement. Then we had some beverages.
Yep.
And I left and forgot it, and it was just never found again in this room, even though it never left this room. So I think somebody stole it.
I think so. There were 5 other people here.
And they're like under really high demand, I heard online. Selling
Yeah,
out on
people
TeePublic.
are- yeah.
Selling out on TeePublic every week.
Yeah, TeePublic. You gotta hopefully, you guys got to get to the merch page. We're running out. No. Yeah, I know. I dug through the couches. I've been looking around even those guys' houses. Like when I go to their house, I'll just look around. I don't even remember what color it was though.
It was gray.
Giggler is so great being back here, man.
Dude, I know. It seriously was.
Like it was literally 2 weeks off. Had the 4th of July, and life happens. But we got back in here. Did you have a good time?
Yes, I can't wait till we're whole again.
Yeah, PC
Let's
Mike,
go, Mike.
shout out to you. We'll get you back in here. You have a lot to do. You better wrap up Loki, and we're gonna have to get him to go see Black Widow. You know what we
Yes.
might have to do since he's not watching it with us tomorrow. We'll just go with him again and watch it again.
Or we could just order it on Disney Plus, $30,
Do the premiere access
and just watch it again. But I know he said he'd be liking the watching at home stuff way
He
more than
does.
theater. So that might be why.
You know what? As an employee of Mostly Superheroes, I'll let him write that off. Send me your receipt for your premiere access of Black Widow. No, yeah, absolutely. Big episode coming up. DC rewatch coming up. Like Andy said, we're going to do this the rest of our lives. So we hope you guys are enjoying it.
Sure.
Appreciate the squad.
Oh, the squad especially.
Squad's great, man. You guys been great on Twitter. The Facebook group is getting more fun. And we see more listeners coming in each and every week. And, of course, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, man. Like, if you're wondering if it really helps, it truly does. It adds value to the show. And, again, lets us do bigger and better things. We got some big ideas for stuff. You might remember the VHS watch party we did. We did a live Jurassic Park watch party. And we did the Mostly Madness movie tournament. These are the types of things we'd like to sprinkle throughout the year. And, again, that's where your support goes. Even if you're just listening, it helps out a ton. So thanks a lot.
Totally agree.
Giggler, see you next week. We'll do it again.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, man. Oh, wait, hey, let's get off here and talk about what we're doing for dinner tomorrow. I'm getting some popcorn. We're seeing Black Widow.
Oh, God, yes.
All right, buddy.
It's good to be back.
Good to be back, man. We'll do it again for you guys next time. Everybody have a good week. We'll see you next time. Take it easy.